I'll start again. Honourable Governor, Honourable Deputy Governor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honour to be among you today, and I applaud you for this event of great significance and great encouragement. I should mention to you that I have prepared in advance a paper which you will find in the pack provided to you, and I do not intend to read through that paper word for word, but I would commend it to you for a later study, and I believe the experts today have had advance notice of my paper so that they can consider the questions I pose and perhaps respond to some of those during the course of the next session. Now, I hope it's the case that somebody has a control for the screen and I will see the slides move. Good. If you could move on, and then we'll explain first of all a little bit, and only briefly, about the Commonwealth platform. The Commonwealth Environmental Investment Platform is an alliance between the Royal Commonwealth Society and the Forbury Investment Network, which is operated by my law firm Clark's Legal in the UK. And you can see on the screen the countries in which we have already established hubs to work on the objective of sharing environmental investment and opportunity between Commonwealth countries for the common good. One of the things I would particularly ask you to look carefully at in my paper is some of the observations about the value of the Commonwealth, which I could speak about for a very long time, but that would be unfair to you. What I would like to stress is that the Commonwealth is a wonderful platform to share business interest. It has a great deal of networking already available, and I particularly believe that we can encourage SME networking through Commonwealth channels, and it's certainly my objective to begin that process with Bangladesh. We were formed particularly to encourage low-carbon economic growth through connecting entrepreneurs, investors, and sustainable businesses in environmental goods and services, which is one of the world's fastest growing sectors. And of course, the idea is to share sector and entrepreneurial knowledge, contacts and experience between Commonwealth markets. And so, in effect, what we have created is a network of hubs that serve their own local marketplace, but also connect with other Commonwealth countries for mutual interest. Thank you. So the objective, which I hope we might progress today, is to connect the stakeholders, the wider audience, if you like, of the Commonwealth, to achieve sustainable economic growth, while we also address the very urgent social, economic and environmental issues which affect so many Commonwealth countries today. And we believe there is unique benefit out of this programme to entrepreneurs, investors, the SMEs, the universities and the governments of the Commonwealth. Last year in 2013, the theme of the Commonwealth was opportunity through enterprise, and that is when we launched this new platform, showing how we believe opportunity comes to all through using enterprise, particularly for the good of the environment. Special Commonwealth advantages I refer you to are the legal frameworks, which are very much in common, the existing business, government, linguistic and cultural ties which have been developed over a very long time, which make the Commonwealth an ideal international forum. It is a very valuable business resource, as the gross domestic product of the Commonwealth now exceeds that of the Eurozone. And the demography of the Commonwealth is in its favour. It makes it very important to serve the future generations of the Commonwealth. And may I refer here also to the ecosystem of business. I believe that a lot of our discussion today is around the ecosystem, how business works to foster the SMEs, because they do not work in a vacuum. And so let us focus on the ecosystem. I refer in my paper to an OECD publication. You'll see from my paper that there are different definitions. There is no simple answer, and the concept is, in a sense, quite new. But I would say it is evolving. I think in Bangladesh today, and here I venture an opinion because others will know more than I, but you are familiar with the concept of clusters, but perhaps in an old sense of clusters of businesses who have much in common working in a particular location. I think, as I will demonstrate to you today, clusters are evolving quickly beyond that. And what I would perhaps invite you to consider today is how ambitious Bangladesh can be and should be to utilizing the cluster concept to change the game for Bangladesh in world markets. I want to share with you a number of success factors which determine whether a cluster is good or bad. The policies in the local situation have to fit and work to encourage the development of a cluster. Obviously, we have to have complementarity of the component businesses. Someone should be looking at that and helping to see and identify the ways in which the businesses will help one another and see that that happens. Encouraging the cooperation and synergies which make a world of difference to whether businesses will thrive and want to be in the cluster. The networking which is part of the process of sharing knowledge and realizing what can be done. And may I stress this, I expect all of you have the experience now of operating in the email world where communication by electronic means has become your normal way of life. You may love it or you may hate it, but it's there. It does not replace networking. I stress the need for face-to-face communication, discussion, collaboration, which, of course, a cluster would give. The role of the banks must be critical. I've described bankers here as agents of change, and I believe that. I believe if you have enough bankers wanting to do something, it will happen. Banks are very powerful, resourceful, capable, and if they wish to transform the economy, I believe they can. So in practice, the opportunity is here for the bankers to play a special role in the facilitation of the process of technical development. It does require an understanding to be enhanced of how technology will help in Bangladesh and how the processes that I've been describing are best worked out here and how engagement will be achieved in this context. But I would say the banks of Bangladesh will know all of that and will be able to facilitate that process. So I would say absolutely critical to the future of the technology clusters I'm describing. Resilience has to be addressed. I would say that Bangladeshi businesses probably have learned to be resilient. In practice, that is required for technology success. What is Bangladesh now best at in world markets, and what will it be best at in world markets? An evaluation is required in a sophisticated way of technology development so that you can see where existing best knowledge could be used to be competitive in a global marketplace, which you have available to you through the internet. And of course, specialist SME opportunities will emerge from that, because the SMEs will perhaps be able to identify why they have a special niche in a corner of a very big market. Okay. Sorry. I would say that direct foreign investment should be attracted by clusters. There's bound to be interest by publicizing success and showing investors what can be done in an economy which is so well resourced with people and ideas. You have to look at whether the SMEs are getting the support to internationalize I've mentioned, because they won't be able to do it on their own. They need a mechanism for doing it. but you can provide that. I, of course, know not only the current population of Bangladesh, but what it will be over the next 30 or 40 years on current predictions. You are going to have to find many million of new jobs over the next 20 or 30 years. We know that. So we have to develop new industries, new opportunities to match the jobs growth. That is clear. I therefore do not see this as optional. It is a necessity for the future generation. And I would be asked the question, is cluster development a large part of the success story for SMEs in Bangladesh? I venture to suggest it must be a huge part of whether your SME programs will succeed. I thank you very much for the invitation today. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.